start this. Okay. All right, guys. Slot two is over. So we have Lucky here, who's actually taken slot two. You're in Hyderabad, so Lucky, start with your reaction about how the exam was. I mean, you basically looked at the slot one sort of exit poll sort of thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Right.
did it cloud your
I'll answer all the questions together. Before that, firstly, I would like to appreciate the way TCS has conducted this exam in a pandemic. I think everything was smooth, 100%. It just seemed like, so I took this exam last year, so it seemed exactly like the 2019 test taking experience with no glitches and no issues. So
wow?
commendable to TCS on that, and they were handling more than 200 odd students in a slot, which is not an easy job in a pandemic. So I think they've done a great job. That is the mandatory. Now coming to the paper, right? No, I think no, I think we should appreciate the people behind the scenes. That's something people don't do. They're like, okay, yeah,
That's
right.
definitely true.
Now coming to the paper, not really, but but from what I understood for slot one, basically I told myself this might be a paper that might be slightly more tougher than 2019. So my reaction to the paper was that yes, verbal was difficult, but the passages were moderate length. I mean, the usual slightly shorter than mocks. Mocks this year they have slightly increased the length around 50 odd words, but but always like they say, the devil is in the questions, and the questions were not that easy. And
Mhm.
it seemed similar in structure to 2019 RC, where people largely said that RC was difficult and VA was relatively more doable. That seemed the case this year as well.
Mhm.
And not to go too much in detail, just that there are certain sections where students say that, look, I mean, I'm not going to name the section. Students who experience takers will realize that there are certain sections in the verbal ability section where students are, they, they get a bit scared that we can't do this, we can't do this. Turns out those are the things you should have done in the paper. So it just reinforces the statement that don't try to predict the devil. You never know what
Hello.
surprises it might throw at you, right? So
Mhm.
that was there. So that was verbal. I think a good section, but not an easy section. The difficult to, I mean, even fast readers might find the fast readers are very likely, I think, to attempt. They might end up attending all the questions, which wasn't my case. But yeah, that's what verbal has been. It wasn't the easiest of the sections. It was similar to 2019 difficulty level. Coming to DILR, so last year I had a horrible DILR, right? There were 8 sets and I could barely reach 3, and I ended up with an 85 percentile. So at least this year, I don't think that's going to be the case. There, and as has already been told, there were 2 sets of 6 questions each and 3 or 4 questions each. So from what I heard about slot one, slot two was different. I think what is very important is that just because you have heard a slot's comments, you should not let that color your vision of your slot. I heard what was slot one's case, and I told myself, look, don't judge slot one and think slot two will be the same. It wasn't the same case. Turns out, you have to be ready for all sorts of possibilities thrown at you. You have to be like, I think the only parameter you should use for judging a set is the difficulty level. Don't worry about what is the nature of the set. What is this? The question is, can you solve the set within the stipulated time? That is the question. So, and it was a good combination of logic and data. As always, you cannot classify what is logic, what is data. I mean, even right, you don't have that. So I think it was a really fun section to take. I could, although there were sections, but it was a logical reasoning. It was really fun to take and combine with maths. I believe I'm decent at calculation, so that really helped when it comes up. That was logic, a good eclectic mix between logic and data interpretation. Coming to the quant section, slightly more difficult than 2019. Students who have well prepared their concepts and have become good at calculations, or in general, you're good with solving techniques. Like one thing I always believe, you should be good at solving techniques which are beyond your textbook. So if you're good at that, I think it would have been a little difficult to. I could not attempt all the questions. I don't think it was that straightforward. But overall, I think it was a fun section to take. And as in all three sections, overall, if we talk about, you have 120 minutes of test taking time. Now, if you have been taking mocks, you would have been fairly conditioned. But in the exam situation, where you're taking, I think the paper's difficulty becomes somewhat 10% more, at least in your mind. Now, that being the case, I mean, it was a good paper. I won't say it was a great paper. I won't say it was the kind of paper, for me at least, that would end up landing you in a very, very, very high echelon. But I think I've done a decent job, and I'll just wait for the answer key a few days from now. I mean, that's all it is.
Okay. Awesome. Right? Any words of advice for the third slot people?
Well, one thing I would definitely say is that don't, one advice I would give to third slot people is to watch the slot one video and forget that this video exists. Okay. Right? Because what happens, I think you should, like this, too many cooks spoil the broth. So don't watch multiple, in fact, in general, right? Just contact one person, know about the structure of the paper, and that's all you're supposed to know. Maybe difficulty level, provided it does not color your vision, but don't go around watching every single video and every single opinion, because what I say is easy for me might not be the case for others, and what is difficult for me might not be the case for others. So just go, have faith in yourself, and trust in the power of your abilities. If you have prepared well, you will do well. It's rare that you don't, and don't let one section affect your next section. That is very important. So that was my take from 2019, right? So 2019, like I said, I had a 85% in the logic section, but I decided let's just enjoy the quant section. I ended up scoring a 99.7 in the quant section. So you have to really keep your calm and keep your nerves. As well as you do that, your preparation will be alongside you. So all the best to everyone for slot 3 and the results that come from here.
Awesome. Thank you, Lucky, for joining in and taking time from your part. Guys, so that was slot 2, a pinch of advice. Lucky usually scores 99.5x percentile in mocks. So again, base your parts from
we don't know how it will translate this year, whether it be the same or not. I think we'll have to
yeah, but what I'm saying is that is the usual thing which you score. So let's see.
So let's see how it's this year. Might be up, might be down. Better if it's up, but right.
Okay, cool. Chalo, thank you very much. I'll catch up with you in a little while. Okay,
sure.
cool. Bye.